And Guruji, I didn't see this from only till Nava Champaga, but then the later Kadamba Manchari is not there in that thing.
Okay, the slokas, I'll add that today.
Okay, thank you.
ॐ शुक्लां भरतरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुर्गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Okay, so we are going to the beautiful Namam. Nava Vidruma Bimba Shri Nyakkari Radanachada is the Nama. So most importantly, I would like to talk about a few things. So let's see how Mother wants to do this. I feel with Father, I'm super comfortable. I am just, I'll say and he'll support me. Mother sometimes says like, nah, no, you're not doing this today. So I wanted to do this one specific Bijaksharam for this from this Nama for about 2 weeks now. So today I'm hoping I'll be able to cover it. We have seen the Nama start with Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, Srimat Simhasaneshwari, and we talked quite a bit in detail about those namas. And the common syllable that appears in all those three namas is Shri. And we said Shri is an important Bijaksharam, and Shri was also quite nicely explained to us by Bhaskara Raya. Here you are seeing Shri coming one more time. Now that we are a little further into the namas, and I'm feeling more confident to actually use this and give the meaning of this behind the inner meaning of this as the Bijaksharam. So, sorry, one second, I'll just mute everybody. So Shri is the Namam and it has 3 letters. We know Om is a Pranavam, and we know about that. Om constitutes of 3 syllables or 3 individual parts as well. The A, U, Ma. Even Shreem is the Sri Vidya Pranavam, and it has 3 syllables, 3 parts to it as well. The Sha, Ra, and Eel. So Sha is called as the Anandavachi. Ra is the Agni Bijam, and Eem is an extremely significant Bijaksharam that is given in Sri Vidya and that is used in Sri Vidya. It's called the Shakti Bijam, and it is also called the Turiyaksharam. The reason why it's called Turiyaksharam, Lataji, you have to mute yourself. It's called the Turiyaksharam, and Turiya actually means fourth, and it constitutes a lot of things, connotes a lot of things. So first is E. So it's the fourth letter. But what is fourth? Like in Mandukya Upanishad, we mentioned it a couple times in our classes. So there is the Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, and then Turiya Sthiti, the fourth state, which is overruling, or ruling the other 3 states, and which constitutes the Brahman himself. So Eem is considered the Shakti Bijam as well as the Turiya Aksharam. So it is the Shiva Shakti Aikya Bijam. And this is also called as the Gupta Pranavam is the other name that's given to it. Om, while we say Om is the Prakata Pranavam, Eem is the Gupta Pranavam. So Shreem is a combination of all of these things. So one is the Anandavachi, the Sha, Ra being the Tejo Vachi or the Agni Bijam, or representative of Jnana Vachi or the Jnana. So, and then the third one is the Shakti and Turiyaksharam. So what is the combination of all of these things? So if you notice, on one side we are saying Parabrahman is the Turiya Aksharam or the the Turiyam, which is represented in the Turiya Aksharam. Eem is the Shakti Bijam. So you have the Shiva and Shakti combination. And then you have the Jnana and Ananda with it. So nothing more than the Satchidananda Brahman himself is in this Bijaksharam with his Shakti. So it's considered a very important Bijaksharam, and there are quite a few nuances. There are levels of Sri Vidya, and there is one set of, in every level we get a different set of mantras. In one mantra, which is considered a very highly potent mantra, by adding this additional Bijaksharam, it just becomes like a lot more potent. So Shreem, just pronouncing it correctly, not as Shreem, not as Shreem, but as Shreem, very beautifully, is a beautiful Bijakshara that you may want to ponder upon. Okay, so now the rest of the nama. Nava Vidruma Bimba Shri Nyakkari Radanachada. So we'll break it down into, there are quite a few beautiful words in there. So Chada means curtain. So in the previous one, they were talking about, the Vagdevis were talking about the cheeks of the mother. Now they are moving into her lips. This is describing mother's lips. So what do lips do? They form a curtain for a few things, like that they cover the teeth, they cover the tongue, and they cover the voice, and they actually even help us produce some swaras. So Nyakkari means they're excelling, or insulting is the other term. Like the Paribhavi, Tiraskari, there are some words that have been used. They give an example or an analogy, and they say it is much more than, or it is insulting the analogy that we were providing, or the simile that we were providing to you. Even here, they're explaining that mother has two lips, and sorry, somebody is practicing something, coming off mute. So the two lips there are two different words that get used in Sanskritam. So we generally hear the word adharam for lip, but oshtam is the upper lip and adharam is the lower lip. So they are comparing the upper lip, oshtam, with navavidrumam. So a new coral, a new pagadam is what we call it in Telugu. They are comparing the upper lip with that, and then the lower lip, adharam, with a bimba fruit. So both are super red in color, but I personally don't know why there were two different objects given as examples. I have not figured that out or have read it anywhere. But those are the two comparisons that they are giving, and here inserting.
What was the lower lip compared to?
Bimba fruit.
Bimba, okay.
Yeah. And here they inserted this Bijaksharam Shreem, Shrihi with a Visarga. And they're saying this Radana Cheda is it's excelling or insulting the red color of these two comparisons. So it's much more redder than that.
Are we on line 7?
We are on line 9.
9. Okay.
9 and the second line of the 9th sloka.
Okay, thank you.
It is rubies and bimba fruit that we're comparing, isn't it?
I thought red coral.
No, sorry, upper lip.
Yeah, I thought red coral was pagadam. I might be wrong.
So upper.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, the upper lip, the lower lip was compared to bimba fruit. I'm sorry, I missed the upper lip comparison.
The red coral.
Okay.
What we call as the pagadam. The previous one, Padmaraga Siladarsha, that was being compared to the rubies.
Okay, I got mixed up. Thank you so much.
Okay, so and there are other bijaksharas that are embedded in this, like every other namam or every other slokam in the Lalita Sahasranamam. There are quite a few bijaksharas. So this one also has the ekara and aikara mantras that I won't be able to go deeper into, but wanted to mention Shri. Actually wanted to mention it when we started with Shri Mata, Shri Maharagni, but this is where Mother wanted me to mention that. Now we are going into something that we will take some time to understand. The next namam is Shuddha Vidyankurakara Dvija Pankti Dvayojvala. So that is a one single namam. So there were some confusion last time. People were asking if they are kurakara or whether it is kurankara or something like that. So this is Shuddha Vidya Kurakara, Shuddha Vidyang Kurakara, Dvija Pankti Dvayojvala. So the word breaking, we'll understand the individual words in this one. First is Shuddha Vidya Ankura Akara Dvija Pankti Dvaya Ujvala. That is how many individual words there are in this one namam. So how many did we say? Shuddha, Vidya, Ankura, Akara, Dvija, Pankti, Dvaya, Ujvala. 8 words in one single nama. So let's see what it means. So Dvija.
Just
Sorry, go ahead.
Guruji, one question. Sorry. So when you read it together, right? Shuddha Vidyang Kura Ka Dvija Panktid Vayojvala, you said, right?
Correct.
So does it similar in a similar way? Do we have Kura Karat Dvija, because they are also D comes the name? I don't know. I'm just asking if that makes sense or no. It is not so.
So the way it would be is Shuddha Vidyankura Kara Dvija Pankti Dvayojvala, and the D will be emphasized there because of the the conjunct consonant that we have in both places. So it should sound
Okay.
almost the same. The reason I said almost the same because ra followed by dva should be different than kti, because that's also a conjunct consonant followed by dva. So there is a minor difference there in how many matras you use for each of those. But the dva should be pronounced. So the pankti would be a little longer than ra. And those who are in the chanting class may tell me how many matras is ra versus how many matras is pankti. Okay, I won't put you on spot. Ra is 1.5 matras and pankti is 2.5 matras long. Apart from that, the emphasis on dvi will remain the same. Okay, so some beautiful terms that we will nicely slowly analyze, and I hope I can just put it in a nice format that is not confusing. Important to understand, let's say first let's take a dvija word. We still use that word in our regional languages too. Dvija means a Brahmin is the latest contemporary term for it, but somebody who has been initiated into Gayatri Mantra and is learning Veda is called as Dvija. The reason Dvija means somebody a twice born is how it translates to. A person takes birth once, the normal birth, and then with Gayatri Mantra initiation, he takes a second birth. So people who are twice born in this life are called as Dvijas. So what is being compared to Dvijas here? Pankti Dvaya Ujvala. Pankti, the teeth. There are 2 rows of teeth. Pankti is row. Dvaya means 2. So the 2 rows of teeth are so bright as Dvijas. But what kind of Dvijas? Suddha Vidya Ankurakara Dvijas. The Brahmins who are, or the Vedas, whose Suddha Vidya has germinated and has risen in them. Ankurakara. Ankura means germinate, not blossom actually. Ankuras are germinate or rise or grow. So those Brahmins in whose mind Shuddha Vidya has germinated and has risen, it looks like as though, so think about it now, imagine these 2 rows of Brahmin priests sitting and reciting all the Vedam in their beautiful the Brahmin attire, and they are chanting. So it's as if 16 priests on each side are sitting and chanting, and that's the main the straightforward meaning. So Shuddha also means like the Spatika Shuddha, like the white, and it means like white. So you can take that as the predominant, the superficial meaning that will come to mind. So we have to understand now, okay, fine, there are Veda Vedas, we know what that is, but what is Shuddha Vidya? Shuddha Vidya has multiple meanings. One is the only Shuddha Vidya is Brahma Vidya. People who understand the Parabrahman, the Advaita Siddhi, those people are called as the that Jnanam, Shuddha Vidya, is called as the Brahma Vidya, or it is also called as the Para Vidya. So the Shuddha could mean Dhawalakanti, but if you combine Shuddha and Vidya, then it becomes as the priests that have this Brahma Jnanam, and that has germinated in them and is rising. So there is a definition for Shuddha Vidya that I have written down. Sa bhavati Shuddha Vidya edanta adantayor abhedamiti. So what it means is the Vidya that tells that idanta and paranta has no ahanta, doesn't have any difference. What is idanta? Everything that is idam. So in Sanskritam we used a term idam. So this is could be like, I could say idam, or I could say idam for a pencil. So idam is everything that is surrounding us, the whole universe itself. And ahanta means aham, the me. So the difference between me and the universe has gone down so much that there is no difference between the two. I see myself as the universe, and the universe is me itself. That indifferentiation, or the difference between the two, doesn't exist. That Vidya is called as the Shuddha Vidya, is how it is described. So the difference between aham, the me, and the Paramatma does not exist. So the other way to look at it, it's important to also see this as the jnana, in the jnana context. So we have been describing, like, seeing the description of mother, her eyes, her eyebrows. We've seen her forehead, her ears, her nose. Now we are coming to her mouth. We have described the cheeks. So in Panchadasi, the Panchadasi is a mantra in Sri Vidya. There are 3 sections of it. We call them the kutas. At some point I've mentioned those names if anybody remembers. So there are 3 kutas, or 3 sections of the Panchadasi. One is the Vagbhava Kutam, then there is the Madhya Kutam, and there is the Shakti Kutam. Vagbhava Kutam is the Jnana, the location of the Jnana. So mother's face is Vagbhava Kutam. So the Icha, Kriya, Jnana Shaktis. So Vagbhava Kutam, her face is the Jnana Shakti Karakam. So that's where the Vagbhava Kutam lives. But if we relate that to ourselves, the 5 sense organs, while skin is like, covering the whole body, the 5 sense organs are all located and concentrated in our face. So it's our Vagbhava Kutam as well, in the sense of that which gives us jnana, in the sense. So everything that we are learning from external world is through these 5 senses. All the knowledge that we are gathering is through these 5 senses. So it's Vagbhava Kutam, that is the other meaning that we have to take here. I'll go with the Shodasi first. In levels of Sri Vidya, there are multiple mantras that given, and then you practice and you do sadhanas, and then you go to the next level. There is a Vidya called as Shodasi Vidya that comes in a much higher level. And Shodasi actually means 16 letters, 16 lettered mantra. Each aksharam in that mantra, or each syllable in that mantra, has a Shiva component and a Shakti component. So what they are also comparing mother's teeth, 16 teeth on the top teeth and the bottom teeth, is the 16 aksharas of the Shodasi mantra. The top row being the Shiva component of the mantra, and the bottom teeth are the Shakti component. So this also shows us the importance of what we call as the Samayacharam, which means that seeing the unity between Shakti and Shiva, and there is no Abheda Bhavana, we see that. That is called as seeing them as Samam is Samayacharam. So this is showing us that every time you think of the mother, the Shiva already always exists with her. Though the 16 teeth are being compared to the Shiva and Shakti component, therefore 32 teeth. One more meaning that comes is in Dattatreya Samhita, 32 Brahma Vidyas have been given, and these 32 are compared to the mother's 16 teeth. And Dattatreya is so Dakshinamurti has given mantras like Shakti mantras and Shakti sadhana. Hayagriva has taught that to Agastya. Dattatreya has practiced it a lot, and then Parashurama went and learnt it from Dattatreya. So Dattatreya has written Samhita for this, and Parashurama has written Kalpasutras, which is very much like the sadhanas that we practice and all of that comes from Parashurama Kalpasutras. So all of this, so you can see like any form of Bhagwan also like respects and the importance of Shakti in him. All we are talking about is Shiva's Shakti, right? Like the entire Shakti in the universe, like know how in Saundarya Lahari Shankaracharya explains it, without Shakti Shiva is nothing. So all these Brahma Vidyas have been explained by Dattatreya in that Brahma Samhita, and it is also compared to those Brahma Vidyas. There are 16 other Vidyas that are given in Vasishta Agama, and it's also compared to that. I'll quickly read a few Vidyas so you can understand what Vidya means in the context of Sri Vidya Vidyas, and then we will also see some of the Upanishad Vidyas. So in Vasishta Agama, the Vidyas we see are Shuddha Vidya, Bala Vidya, Matangi Vidya, Varahi Vidya, Tiraskarani Vidya, Sampatkari Vidya, Lopa Mudra Vidya, all forms of mother and Vidya to do her practices or sadhanas that are given in the Vasishta Agama. So all of these are also compared to mother's teeth. Then there is one more beautiful connotation to this. In Aksharamala, in Sanskrit Aksharamala, as I previously mentioned, the Aksharamala has Vagdevis or Devatas associated with each row, and each Akshara itself has a Devata. So there are 50 letters in Aksharamala, but there are some that are elongated forms of some other Aksharas. For example, A is an elongation of A. So if we take only the unique Aksharas, then there are 32 of those. And there is a comparison. Bhaskara Raya compares these 32 letters or Aksharas in the Aksharamala to mother's teeth. And there are Brahma Vidyas as taught in the Upanishads. There are 32 Brahma Vidyas that have been taught that are significantly important. We spoke about one, maybe two. We spoke about two in the past. One is the Dahara Vidya that we just recently mentioned, like in the previous Vishnu Sahasranamam class. And the other Vidya that we talked about is Akshi Vidya, seeing Brahman through eyes. And there are multiple other Sadvidya. The Sveta Ketu gets, another Vidya from Chandogya Upanishad has it. Kathopanishad has lots of Nachiketa, fire, Agni Vidya. There are many, many more Vidyas that are available. So the 32 Vidyas that have been taught in Upanishads are also compared to mother's teeth. So, and the last comparison they do is like, no, I think to that extent is what I want to go. So that's the description of now, Shuddha Vidya Ankura Akara Dvija Pankti means rows, Dvaya 2, Ujjvala, the Prakasham of those teeth is like this. And so essentially what we are saying, the whole Jnana Yoga or whatever Jnanam we need to get is in mother's face in the Vagbhava Kutam, and meditating on that will help us get the Jnanam. About who? About what? about the Parabrahman. And what is learning about Parabrahman? The indifference or the Advaitam between me and the rest of the universe. I hope that's clear. Are there any questions before we move to the next one? This is a very important nama. If there are any questions, I'd like to take them now.
The whole line meaning just one more time. Difficulty following the through.
Okay, sounds good. So I will. I hope I can do it in the same sequence that I've done. The first one was the 16 Veda Brahmins sitting in 2 different rows and in their white beautiful clothes and chanting Vedam. That is the first meaning. The second meaning is just a simple, straightforward one. Shuddha, like, means also the spatika, white. It's all they're shining as white. So that's the other one. The third one is the Shuddha Vidya itself means the indifference between the Advaita Siddhi, the indifference between the universe and myself, or Idanta and Ahanta, that we've talked about. It represents the Vagbhava Kutam, mother's face, and how that means like the Jnana part for us as well, because all our Indriyas are concentrated in the face as well. Next one is Shodasi Vidya, the 16 aksharas, bija aksharas that are in the Shodasi mantra of Sri Vidya, and the Shiva and Shakti component, therefore 2 rows of 16 each. And we talked about Dattatreya Samhita having 32 Brahma Vidyas. We talked about Vasishta Agama having 16 Vidyas that he gave in, Vasishta gave in the Agama, those 16 and their Shiva and Shakti components. Then we talked about Aksharamala. The unique aksharas in the Aksharamala are 32, so those are represented. And Brahma Vidya in the 32 Brahma Vidyas that were taught in the Upanishads.
Thank you.
The important part here before we move to the next Namam is they're saying, the previous Namam, they said Radana Chada. The lips are now covering the teeth as a curtain, right? So from Radana, we said Chada was a curtain, but inside there are all of these Vidyas that are available for us. So how do we get that Jnanam? And they will teach us that in the next 2 Namas. Let's look at those. The next Namam is Karpura Vitika Amoda Samakarsha Digantara. So even before telling us how to get this Jnanam, they are telling us what would we get if we got that Jnanam. But let's see what is the superficial, like, what do you call, the Laukika meaning, and then we'll go into the deeper meanings. Karpura Vitika Amoda Samakarsha Digantara. And because of the combination of the words, we have to chant it as Samakarsha Digantara with a double the. Otherwise, it's a pretty straightforward nama. What they're saying is, mother is chewing a tambulam, the fragrance of which has spread across the all the 8 digantaras. So in all the 8 directions, this fragrance is spreading. So you can imagine this or visualize this to be as you enter the Manidvipam or as you entering the Sri Chakram. You are just, getting this amazing fragrance. So even if it is your puja mandiram that you are about to enter, we can visualize this. And they say the Karpura Vitika is not just a very basic tambulam like we take with a leaf and some sunnam and some betel nut in it. But her Vitika or Karpura Vitika has a lot of a description that I have learned from one of our Pravachana Kartas. So he reads it as Ela Lavanga Karpuri Kesharadibi Jati Phalaptalai Pugaihi Langalyushana Nagaraihi Churnaihi Kadira Sarauscha Yukta Karpura Vitika. So that's how many fragrant spices, I think it's called spices. Spices are in mother's Karpuram. Sorry about that. So the fragrance is not just like a very basic tambulam, but all of these combined together, that fragrance is being spread in all the digantaras. So that is one meaning. But now, sorry about that. May I just pause for one quick second? Sorry. I just need to send a message to my son. He needs me. Okay, sorry about that.
Shriji, I just wanted to ask you,
Sure.
like normally when we go to the temple, like always, like if you go to Devi Kshetram versus like Vishnu Mandir or wherever, like like when you're talking, I'm just visualizing it, like the fragrance is different. What you said now is very true. I have never caught that. Like whenever we go to the Bhagavati Kshetram versus the Vishnu Mandir,
Yeah.
it's totally a different experience, like what you get.
Yeah.
And now when you say that, I'm relating this fragrance like to the Tambulam, that is the difference. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Yeah, and in Vishnu Kshetram, we generally see the smell of sandalwood. Whether they're using it or not, there is some sort of a prithvi smell that we get, which is also very different versus the Shiva Kshetram versus Mother's Kshetram.
Yeah,
You are,
absolutely.
yeah,
Now I'm able to differentiate what you're saying. Very, very nice. Thank you.
yeah. So now we'll look at the deeper meaning for this. There is a word that's used here called amoda. Amoda has few variations, but what it means is amoda is unanimous agreement of or validation of somebody's intelligence or somebody's scholarliness or scholarship. Yeah, that's the word. So what it is saying is somebody who has been able to open, like raise the curtain, has been able to get to the Shuddha Vidya, all the Jnana formats that we have been seeing in what we have seen in the previous Nama. That person will get the fame and reputation that comes from all directions, and is blessed. That reputation is blessed upon the sadhakas who get the knowledge due to chanting the mother's name. Did I make sense of that sentence? I'll repeat it one more time.
Can you repeat it again,
Yeah.
Shriji?
So connect the three namas, the second line of the 9th sloka and the two namas in the 10th sloka. We said the lips are like curtains that are covering the mouth, and in the mouth there are 32 teeth of 2 rows, 16 each. That are all of these Brahma Vidyas and lots of Jnana Yoga that's in there. What this is saying is the person who chants mother's names, he gets reputation, fame and reputation that is validated by everybody from all directions. So the sentence I've written here is the fame or reputation that comes from all directions is blessed upon sadhakas who get the knowledge due to the chanting of mother's names. I'll repeat that sentence one more time. The fame or reputation that comes from all directions is blessed upon sadhakas who get the knowledge due to the chanting of mother's names. Amoda samakarsha digantara. Sama akarsha. Think about that. Everybody gets attracted to the knowledge that is blessed upon this individual who is chanting mother's names. Because of that chanting, he is blessed with jnana, and that jnana attracts fame and reputation for that person from all the directions. That's how it is explained. I hope that's clear. There were quite a few probabilities or variations of it. So did everybody get that? Shall we move on to the next one?
So, Guruji, for that amoda is the word which you said amoda. So that's the whole thing which you mean by reputation and the fame, which you're saying that.
Samakarsha is attraction,
Oh, okay.
right? Amoda is validating and getting attracted to the knowledge that's been blessed upon the sadhaka due to chanting mother's names. So what we are getting the sadhana here, if you think a little more deeply, is when we chant mother's names, then the curtains of her lips get raised, and then we will get all the access to all the jnana that are in the form of her teeth. Because of the jnana that is bestowed upon that sadhaka, everybody, it's a validated knowledge that everybody it understands that knowledge to be validated knowledge and gets attracted to that knowledge.
Thank you, Guruji.
So that is, now chanting is the one sadhana that they gave. Now if we move, and actually Shankaracharya in Saundarya Lahari says this also, your sadhakas will be blessed with poetry that is as fragrant and delicious as the tambulam of Vagdevis, is what he calls it, and he combines that with the Shuddha Vidya Ankurankara to the next one, the Karpura Vitika Amoda. Okay, so we'll look at the next one. This also has, we'll keep an eye on the clock as well. So Nija Sallapa Madhurya Vin. Oh, did we chant this sloka? I don't think we did.
No, no, Guruji. No.
What I would like to do, just because it is connected slokas and the second sadhana in this namam, I'd like to do the meaning first and then we'll go and chant the sloka, if that's okay with everybody. Nija Sallapa Madhurya. Did somebody have a question? Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Bhavaniji.
Saying yes.
Okay. So, Nija Sallapa Madhurya Vinirbharstita Kachapi. Sorry about my pronunciation. When I do it as a sloka, it'll come well. So here, what they're saying is, Kachapi is Ma Saraswati's Veena. And she is playing that. And the Veena has, Veena, through that Veena, Mother is giving us, Ma Saraswati is giving us the knowledge. So the transfer of knowledge is happening there. And this Kachapi is, I think, the most melodious instrument that exists. And it also has the powers to not just, not just play the swaras, but also play the, normally this doesn't happen. They want me somewhere because I have to sign something. Okay. Apologies for that. So it doesn't not only plays the swaras, but it also plays the aksharas. Therefore, the swara shakti and akshara shakti are through in that veena, that nadam, and that nadam gives us the knowledge. But what here, the important word that they're saying is Barstita Kachapi. Sorry about that. So excelling or insulting even the nadam that is coming from the Kachapi, which itself is the most important or most melodious instrument that exists, that is giving us knowledge about everything. And in Saundarya Lahari, again, Shankaracharya actually says, Mother is listening to Ma Saraswati's, Ma Saraswati is playing her veena, and Mother is listening to that. And she is so overwhelmed with joy by listening to it. She says, wow, like sadhu, sadhu, amazing. Like, that sound is fantastic. So Ma Saraswati says, Amma, your voice is so melodious that it's strange that you actually say my Kachapi is playing better than you. Your voice is much more melodious. I actually want to stop playing the Kachapi and I want to listen to your voice because that is what is actually bringing me the most joy. And Shankaracharya actually explains that she covers the veena with her sari pallu and just sits like this and just wants to listen to mother's voice. And what this actually tells us is the second sadhana that I was saying. The first one is chanting her names. But when you chant her names, what happens? Mother is, through that nadam, the knowledge that flows from her mouth as sadhu sadhu, is how Shankaracharya explains it. So listening to that chanting, mother is now so overwhelmed with joy that she is actually starting to speak to us, and then the knowledge flows to us through as the next step. Now we'll also see the next namam, and then we'll combine all of these together for sadhanas. Mandasmita Prabhapura Majjat Kamesha Manasa. So this is a very important nama. Mandasmita, we know, is a smile, a very benevolent, gentle, beautiful smile. Prabhapura, which is, I think Prabhapura means like the excelling beyond. I'll just wait on that one, sorry. Majjat. Majjat is an important word. It actually has multiple meanings again, like in anything in Sanskrit, there is no exact translation for it in English. It could mean immersed or drowned or sinking. Kamesha Manasa. So Kamesha's manas is immersed in mother's beautiful smile. So if you take the Puranic connotation for this, so Manmada has brought like the 5 the flower banas and used them on Shiva, and we've seen all of this in Lalitopakhyanam. So he used those 5 flowers on mother, on Shiva, to disturb him from his sadhana, from his meditation. So he can see mother and he can get married to her, and then there will be a child that will go kill the asura that we were looking at. But what happens as soon as he gets disturbed by it, Shiva opens his third eye and burns Manmada to ashes. But as soon as he does that, he sees mother and in that smile that mother has, he then gets attracted to her, and his manas is completely immersed in that smile. Here what they say, the most important thing for us, so mandasmitam, even for us, and it's a meditation technique that's been taught to us in my Vedanta Gurukulam. Mandasmitam means like the gentle smile comes to us only if there is an overwhelming happiness or contentment in the body. It's not like the laugh or the regular smile, but the ananda lakshanam is what my Guruji used to say. What it means is you're so content with your own self that it so happens that the smile is brought to your face. So he would say, whenever there is meditation when you do meditation, bring that beautiful smile. Like, you don't have to smile like this, but just bring that smile. It shouldn't show on your face. It should just come as a glow into your face, that contentment, and meditate on that. Here they're talking about that Satchidananda Vachikam of Mandasmita is a representative of that. And how do we get that? As they're saying, in order to find Shiva or Satchidananda, Parabrahman, you can find it in mother's smile. As soon as you see that smile, you will be reminded of that beautiful, the anandam that you get. And it is also important to understand that this is how we will reach Parabrahman. What we will do, since we are at 10:45 and my laptop battery is about to die, and it's too bad that I didn't connect it. We will look at all of these 4 and connect them together and nicely weave them into a mala and just derive a few sadhanas right after that. And then we will go into chanting the sloka and then look at the other meanings next week. I hope that's okay with everybody. Are there any quick questions?
Yeah.
Any questions that we should take before we conclude the session for today?
Guruji, in this also you have, I think it's echoing, sorry. There is a Majjata here, and we had also gone before earlier also with Majjata Brahmanda Mandala. So that AD and AT is given in my thing. So how do we do that? AT or AT?
Yeah, it's a very good question, Latati. It's just because of the Sandhi rule, but the word itself is the same. Majjat Brahmanda Mandala and Majjat Kamesha Manasa. It's the same Majjat word that's being used. Just because of the Sandhi, one gets, one ends with a the and one ends with a ta.
Thank you, Guruji.
Any other comments?
What does Bhadsida mean?
So it's again excelling.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we'll conclude it here.
Thank you, Guruji. Today's thing was like very nice. Like I was able to visualize quite a lot of things which I couldn't put my name into whatever I get in the temple.
Yeah.
But this was very amazing. Thank you so much.
And there is more to it, so that's why I feel like these are the four more difficult ones to talk about, and I would actually want to just do some more revision about these, because there is lots of sadhana that you could do with this one, and it gives clues to how to gain jnana about the Parabrahma.
Yeah,
So it's
because I never used to like I used to think like it's so different when we go to all these places, right? Like
yeah,
versus what you say in Shiva's temple, you get basmam, smell of basmam a lot
exactly.
compared to the Vishnu Mandir, and
And there
like
is
with others.
a Jala Tattvam in Shiva temple too. So you will actually feel that the humidity or the moisture. Uh,
Yes.
and we will talk about those kind of things tomorrow in the Prana
Oh,
Pratishtha, as
very
long as
nice. Very
time is
nice.
available. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank
Namaskaram.
you, Guruji.
We'll conclude
Thank
with
you.
short prayer. ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ लोकाः समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु सर्वं श्री परदेवतार्पणमस्तु. Thank you so much for your time. We'll catch up next week.
Thank you, Guruji.
Namaste.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Dhanyawadaha. Thank you.
I was wondering if I could get your
Thank
phone
you.
number or something.
I'm on WhatsApp. If you're in the group, you can definitely text me from there.
Okay. And your name?
My name is
Ivan.
Shri. Yeah, it's Shri Devi actually. I'm usually called as Shri. And I love that because it's a Bijaksharam I love.
Okay. Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
Have a good weekend.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.